All right. Next story up here, and I mean, you just have to say this, right? I mean, let's just say this so we could talk about it, but here we go. There's an article right here that we are going to read into. We haven't read it yet. I want to see what they're saying about Josh Allen. I mean, geez Louise, but here's this article. Despite his strong showing, the evidence suggesting Josh Allen is due for regression is powerful. Now, of course, there's going to be a little regression here from Josh Allen because his stats last season were so gosh dang impressive. I mean, when we're talking about pure perfection from the quarterback standpoint, I mean, gosh dang, folks, this is real gosh dang close to absolute perfection throwing the football last season. So, of course, there's going to be a little bit of natural regression, and that's not because Josh Allen is bad or is regressing. It's he set the bar so gosh dang high, I don't even know if you could do better than this overall totality-wise. So let's remind y'all what Josh Allen did last season that was so, oh my goodness, amazing, surprising, because we all know his first 2 years, nothing great, not even throwing 60% completion percentage, so it's like we're not even looking at you at that point. But last season for Josh Allen was so incredible, and we gush about it all the time here on the show. I absolutely love it. I mean, this is probably one of my favorite stat lines to even talk about. It's so gosh dang good. But here we go. Josh Allen from last season, 69% completion percentage. Absolutely fantastic, folks. Fantastic. I think only two other quarterbacks had a better completion percentage. One was Aaron Rodgers at 70%, and then another quarterback who maybe Deshaun Watson threw like 72%, something crazy. So Josh Allen, I mean, this is fantastic. If you throw for 69% completion percentage consistently, you're going to be definitely top 5, maybe even top 3 quarterbacks in this league. No debate. 4,500 yards, 4,544 passing yards, absolutely fantastic. Anything more than 4,000 is fantastic. Really, anything more than 4,200 yards is really, really, really freaking great. 5,000 yards is that exceptional season that really only 10 quarterbacks have ever done ever. So 4,500 is absolutely immaculate here by Josh Allen. And then his touchdown to interception ratio is absolutely perfection. 37 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, very, very close to 4. And, basically, this is the maximum number of interceptions we want to see. We really don't want to see any quarterback throwing more than 10 in a season, and he's right there at that 10 mark. We can respect that 100%. So Josh Allen had an amazing season overall. I want to bring up Aaron Rodgers' stats very quickly just to compare it, because I want to see is Aaron Rodgers able to kind of put up great? I mean, that's a great stat line right there. That is fantastic. So we know Aaron Rodgers has great stat lines, but does he do them like again and again and keep on getting better, or does he have like a really great season, a slight decline, and then right back to another great season off that slight decline? So let's compare his stats quickly to Aaron Rodgers, and then we're going to get into that article, because what are you saying? What are the stats that you're bringing up? What is the kind of because what do they say here in the lead up to the article? The evidence. What is the evidence that Josh Allen is going to regress? Because he only played 3 seasons, 2 were bad, 1 was absolutely off the charts. So, of course, if you're just looking at that, then yeah, some natural regression. But I want to see what they're saying in this article, because, of course, there would just be some natural regression. That's so gosh dang great. It's hard to maintain that back to back for even more than 1 season. So, let's get up Aaron Rodgers' stats quickly. I want to see what they're saying in that article. Very, very interested in seeing what they're saying in that article. Saved it for the show because that's what we do here. Live reactions on everything. So we don't come in with pre-planned facts to argue our point. We talk about everything here, and we make our point on everything. We make our final take on everything, the full body of work. But here we go. Aaron Rodgers. Let's find like a 69% completion percentage season, because that's what Josh Allen is kind of up against here. So we had a 71% completion percentage, but that was in 2007 when he only played 2 games. It didn't even start, so we can't even really count that. Here we go. Folks, Aaron Rodgers has never had a 69 or better completion percentage season until last season. So that's when Josh Allen had it. So if you're going to use that as evidence, and that is something that we are going to keep an eye on, the fans in the stands, no fans in the stands for really the majority of the season last season because of COVID. So inflated completion percentage numbers. So Aaron Rodgers had his best. Josh Allen had his best. We'll see if the fans in the stands lower these numbers. So besides 70% completion percentage by Aaron Rodgers, his next highest was 68% completion percentage. He threw for 4,600 yards. Josh Allen threw for 4,500. He threw for 45 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. That's absolutely fantastic. So this is kind of a great season. It's better than Josh Allen's overall, but it's still very, very similar and comparable. They went 14-1 that season. That's fantastic. Jeez. But then the follow-up year, a little bit of a slight decline, a slight step back because that season by Aaron Rodgers in 2011 was so gosh dang great. The following year, 2012, 67% completion percentage. Took a full percentage point backwards in completion percentage. 4,200 yards, 400 less yards in 2012. 39 touchdowns, 6 less touchdowns. And then 8 interceptions, 2 more interceptions. So, yeah, we can maybe expect slight decline like this by Josh Allen. This is kind of the decline of Josh Allen I am expecting right here. From Aaron Rodgers' 2011 and 2012 season. The slight, very, very slight, small decline right here. You can't even really call this a decline. This is just natural declination. I mean, that's all it is. It's so hard to keep getting better and improving the bar once you've set it so high. So I don't even want to call it a regression. Or what are they wording it in a regression. They word it a regression in the article. I don't even want to call it a regression. I don't even know what I want to call it because it's not even that, folks. It's not a regression at all. It's a minuscule step. It's a minuscule step. It's not even a step backwards. It's just repositioning your foot. You're standing, you lift up your right foot just to kind of reposition it. It's like a fraction off of what the original position was. You can't even call it a move. So let's see what they're saying in this article, folks. What is the evidence that there is going to be a natural regression here by Josh Allen? So let's read the article right here. Will Josh Allen stay elite? Yes. Yes. So here we go. In his first 2 years in the league, Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen's play was so erratic and unpredictable that it was dubbed, quote, the Josh Allen experience. Accuracy problems and a striking lack of fundamentals plagued 2018's 7th overall pick. But Allen showed flashes of promise as his sophomore season came to a close, giving Bills fans hope for the future. He picked up last season where he left off, turning in not just a good season in 2020, but an unexpectedly elite one, truly elite. I mean, folks, those numbers right there that we just read for the 2020 season of Josh Allen, I would say is easily top 20 overall in NFL history. I would say you might be able to make the argument for top 10. I honestly would stand by that. Totality-wise, of the totality body of work of Josh Allen, potentially top 10 quarterback performance of all time. But an unexpectedly elite one. His opponent adjusted total QBR of 81.7 was third in the NFL. I give no credit to QBR numbers. I do not I don't weigh QBR any in my kind of, when I think about what's good and what's bad. I use QBR as nothing. It's a mute point. I do not care. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't care what's in that algorithm that I don't know who originally came up with QBR, NFL or ESPN or whatever it was, but QBR and quarterback rate. There's two different ones. It's QBR, and I know quarterback rating stands for QBR, but there's one on the similar lines as that, and we don't pay attention to any of those. So I really don't care about the QBR. I don't put any weight into that. Most explanations for Allen's improvement, note his winning attitude and raw potential that was ultimately unlocked through patience and good coaching. It's a nice feel-good story about long odds and hard work, but despite Allen being rewarded with a contract that made him the second highest paid player at his position, at least one NFL decision maker is still unsure if he's the real deal, saying, quote, "He perplexes me," an anonymous personnel director told The Athletic's Mike Sando, quote, "because in my career, I have not seen someone go from as inaccurate as he was in college to making this kind of transition." So you don't believe in him because you haven't seen anything like this before? He was so erratic and then he got better, so you're like, oh, this can't be right? Well, can we talk about Tom Brady? I mean, he went in the 7th round. Nobody was expecting him to be good. And then year one, when he got his first start, he emerged great. So don't say you haven't seen it before. We've all seen it in Tom Brady. So let's all relax right here. Just because you haven't seen anything and your mind can't even put anything to it. I mean, folks, we were surprised by that last season. We didn't think he was going to be able to do that, but he did it. And now we are buying into it because we don't really see him stepping back in that. He has to deal with the fans in the stands. And if you're telling me that fans in the stands are 100% responsible from the jump of 58% completion percentage to 69, 3,000 yards to 4,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions to 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, I would say you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind that the fans in the stands alone are the cause for this big old jump. There's no way. Maybe a little bit, and that's why I think Josh Allen may take a slight minuscule foot adjustment this season, is because of potentially the fans in the stands. But the pure talent, Josh Allen just showed it, and he showed it in the preseason as well. We watched all of his throws from preseason, and they were looking just as good, if not better, than what he was doing last year. So you're going to hold the man back because you've never seen it before? That's a little lame to say, no? Let's keep here with the article. Projecting college quarterbacks to the NFL is hardly an exact science. Exactly. So why are you using that as an exact science to knock Josh Allen? What sense does that make? That doesn't make any. But accuracy is one trait that seldom learned after a player enters the league. Mike Leach, one of the innovators of the QB-friendly air raid offense, has quipped that you can teach a shortstop to play quarterback more easily than you can teach accuracy in an inaccurate passer. Yet, last year, Allen's accuracy did improve. In 2019, Allen's sophomore season, 23% of his incompletions were charted as off target by ESPN Stats and Information Group, worst in the league. Based on history, we would have expected his below-average performance to continue, but Allen's off-target rate fell dramatically last year to 15.4%, a hair better than league average. That 7.6% point improvement was good for second best in the NFL in 2020, behind only MVP Aaron Rodgers. Perhaps more impressive, Allen's performance represents the 8th largest year-over-year improvement in accuracy since 2006. So once again, like we kind of said, potential top 10 quarterback performance of all time. And they're saying right here, his performance represents the 8th largest year-over-year improvement. So that's pretty gosh dang good. The 8th largest year-from-year improvement by Josh Allen. Fantastic. Still, as impressive as Allen's rapid ascent was, it should probably give us pause. Of the 31 players since 2006 to record at least a 5-point improvement in off-target rate, nearly 3/4 saw it rise the following season. Off-target throws that end in incompletions aren't the end of the story, though. Off-frame passes that were thrown high, low, ahead, or behind a target but were still caught, represent another way to quantify Allen's accuracy. By his measure, 2020 was a banner year for the Bills quarterback. Allen threw for 10 touchdowns on 58 plays categorized as, quote, off the frame by the ESPN Stats and Information Group. That compares to just 2 touchdowns on 46 such plays in 2019. Allen's 10 touchdowns in 2020 are tied for second most in a season since 2017. Moreover, Allen's 8 touchdown increase on off-frame throws accounts for 47% of his total year-over-year touchdown improvement. Last two paragraphs here. Here we go. Unfortunately for Allen, success on these throws appears to be heavily driven by luck instead of skill. Among Allen's peers who threw 6 or more off-frame touchdowns in a season, 85% saw their touchdown totals fall the next year. In fact, assuming the same volume of catches and average luck, and after adjusting for Allen's yards per attempt, we should expect him to throw for around 4.7 fewer touchdowns in 2021 on those off-frame throws. Allen already beat the odds simply by making it to the NFL. What a lame thing to say, of course. That he led the Bills to 2 playoff wins, inserted himself into the MVP discussion, and followed that up by getting paid like a 1990s rock star are all strong indicators that he's a player you probably shouldn't bet against. Yet, despite this, the evidence suggesting Allen is due for regression is powerful. Will he defy expectations and excel for another year, or will we get a revival of the old Josh Allen experience? So once again, they're just kind of using very, very advanced stats right here to put him in a bubble of what, trend is history. But I mean, folks, he just broke trends. He just broke history. Like I said, I don't know if I've seen a quarterback performance, year 3 leap as great as Josh Allen's. So if we're already saying he's an outlier and everything that we've already said, we're not going to compare him to the not outlier stats that they were comparing him to right there. I don't think that kind of lines up. And the fact that, once again, that they're just basing everything that they just said on pure statistics and saying, well, we've never seen it before, so we can't see it before. We can't see it again. Well, we just said that about Josh Allen. We've never seen a year 3 leap like this before. Tom Brady, we've never seen anything like that before. Twice in, going 7th overall and being so great, and then playing in 44 and still looking elite as heck. So, I mean, there are outliers to everything, and just saying that Josh Allen can't be great because, the stats don't say it, I mean, that's kind of lame to say. We looked at Josh Allen. We see his accuracy. I mean, we look at every single throw by most of these quarterbacks that we talk about, folks, and we watch how he's placing the ball, where he's placing the ball, and what is their criteria for what is off the what was the quote, off the target throws or something like that? What is their exact definition of that? Are they classifying it all the same? Are they getting every single one that's off the mark or only selecting? It's like, when you're going that deep in advanced stats and what constitutes an off-the-mark throw and anything like that, it gets real fuzzy. I mean, we're going real deep, and I don't mind advanced stats. I don't mind them. But when we're using kind of like 5 advanced stats strung together that are kind of on the basis of what people or who the creator is and what is on and not on target throws. I mean, I want to bring it back to this. When I was watching the game from Thursday, Cowboys Bucks, and they were talking about Tom Brady's release time throughout the seasons that he was playing, it was really kind of it really meant nothing. They were showing the plays and, Tom Brady getting the ball out of his hands in 3 seconds or whatever it is, what the arm motion is. And it was like the same throughout his entire career. But what throws were they judging that on? They were just picking one throw from every season to show, hey, he got the ball out of his hands here in 3.8 seconds like he does every single season. It's like, yeah, that's one play. I'm sure there's more where he doesn't, and there's some that lag behind. So it's like you're using one play to justify everything, and that's what they're doing here for Josh Allen. What are these plays? Are you counting literally every single play, every single throw that, Josh Allen was off the mark? And are you counting one? Let's just kind of give an example right here that was kind of 2 yards above the head. Are you counting that as the same that maybe was 1.5 yard? What is the yard that's so off the mark target that you classify as an off the mark target? So I'm not giving any weight in that article, folks, in those advanced stats. Josh Allen is going to be fantastic. We saw him in preseason. He was looking the same. The accuracy was fantastic. We broke it down. That's on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen it, folks. I mean, we broke down, I think it was preseason game number 2, Josh Allen got in on, and man, oh man, he was slinging the ball around still. And now he's got another great wide receiver to work with, Emmanuel Sanders. So once again, increasing his offensive weapons. And those other quarterbacks that they were comparing Josh Allen to in that article, what was their circumstances for their organization? Were they on a bad team for those years that had no weapons, so they were a little kind of inaccurate because the wide receivers weren't great and being there on time? We can believe in Stephon Diggs, obviously. We can believe in Emmanuel Sanders. So, I mean, the situation here for Josh Allen is literally tailor-made to him. He's got a real smart coach in Sean McDermott and an offensive coordinator that's real smart. They've got weapons all over the place. It's a real great organization overall. Buffalo, top down. I mean, they get it done. So, you can't compare Josh Allen to anybody else that they were trying to, make Josh Allen look like right there. So I'm not buying into that. Josh Allen will still be great. Maybe not as great as last season because it was so gosh dang good, almost very impossible to replicate. A la we just looked at, Aaron Rodgers' stats, and he doesn't really replicate those stats. Aaron Rodgers has like maybe 2 seasons that Josh Allen had, maybe 3 seasons that Josh Allen had, 4 seasons that Josh Allen had. So, I mean, that's real great to compare Josh Allen to Aaron Rodgers like that. So I'm not buying these advanced stats. Way too advanced for our liking. We're not buying them. Josh Allen will be fine, folks. No big regression. A minuscule foot adjustment for Josh Allen. That's all. That's all.